I can't read that.
Not supposed to.
Taught you right. I got a son that's a police officer.
Yeah.
All he does is print. What a dummy. And he's got a college degree.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. This would be the regular meeting of October. Would you join me in reciting the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Ellis.
Here.
Farnham. Lawton.
Here.
Luddy. Patrick. Bruner. And Voigt.
Here, we do have a quorum. Let's see, the first agenda item we need to act on is minutes from the September 9th meeting 2023. You'll notice that it says August, but the actual minutes say September. Do I have a motion to accept? Yes. Phil, did you?
I
Okay.
motion.
Okay. Phil and Russ seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Claims against the county, you've had those for a few days. Any questions, clarifications needed? Hearing none, motion to approve. Dan moves, Phil seconds.
What are you gonna do without Andy?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Next, county board claims. You've had those also for a couple of days. Any additions or clarifications? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They carry. Now we come to the portion for public comment. We ask that you identify yourself by name and limit your comments to 5 minutes. Are there any public comments this morning? Hearing none, we'll move on to highway resolution authorizing county board chairman to execute a contract with apparent low bidder Foyt's Contractors for the following Shiloh rebuild project as described in the agenda. We heard about that on Monday morning. Is there any further discussion or clarification needed? A motion to approve that resolution, please. Russ moves. Dan seconds. Any further discussion? Okay. Would you call the roll, Mr. Clerk?
Ellis.
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes.
Luddington.
Yes.
And Bruner.
Yes.
It is approved. Resolution authorizing responsible agencies to post roads to 10 tons effective January 5th, 24 through April 5th, 2024. Any questions or clarifications needed on this resolution? Hearing none, a motion to approve resolution. Russ moves.
Which one? Go on.
Dan
You
seconds.
gotta do it somewhere.
The guys are all thinking about who's got to sign what, right?
It's not bad. Today was an easy day. Who was the second? Dan?
Dan seconded. I'm sorry.
And I get,
I'm trying to keep some decorum here, guys. All, would you call the roll, please?
Ellis.
Yes.
Lawton.
Yes.
Luddington.
yes.
And Bruner.
Yes.
To clarify, on frozen days, farmers or so forth can call their local, whether it be township or county, and seek permission to navigate the roads. There's a lot of times you can go early in the day, but by noon you can't go anymore.
They actually do that?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
absolutely. I just thought I'd clarify.
I thought.
Yeah, right.
So it does, as long as the roads aren't torn up, that's the main thing. And if they're frozen, there's not an issue. And if they're not sloppy, that's an issue, or that's not an issue. So just to clarify. Okay, next is to extend agreement with Bellwethers LLC for period beginning December 1st of 23 through November 30th of 24. Entertain a motion. Lisa moves, Russ seconds. Any discussion? We talked about that Monday morning. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Next, we need to file administrative order 2023-21 appointing Amy Blystone, jury commissioner, to fill vacancy created by Martha Irwin, effective September 30th, 2023. The judges have sent this down, so is there a motion to approve this appointment? Oh, Danny, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
And Phil seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It is approved. Okay, approve oath and bond for Gary Starkey, Commissioner, Drainage District Number 1 of Town of Young America, the County of Edgar, and State of Illinois. Motion to approve. Russ? Lisa, seconds? Do we don't need to call a roll on that, do we?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It is approved. Next, to approve oath and bond for Chris McGinnis, Commissioner, Union Drainage District Number 8 of Buck and Embarrass, County of Edgar, and State of Illinois. Lisa and Russ, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, next is to amend liquor ordinance. We've just had a chance, Augie and I, to talk to Phil, the Assistant State's Attorney, and he has been doing his homework on that. He has some things that he would like to rewrite in the total ordinance. It's gonna make it a lot simpler from here on out and make it more in line with the state. So, do you have any comments on that?
Nope, I think that's
We should
accurate.
have it shortly.
Yep.
And if we have to have a special, yes, Dan?
What's the difference? Is it because of South Fork? Is that the reason why?
No, we're trying to the what's the name of the place, the
Castle
winery?
Finn.
Castle Finn.
Castle
they
Finn
serve
wants to-
liquor,
That's
Liquor,
what it is.
yeah.
No,
To
they
be-
wanna sell beer
beer.
during their normal, business hours. They can sell liquor only at a special event, so they do have that permission. It's just the times that the winery is open during their normal
The
hours.
South Fork is selling it. That's the reason why Castle Finn wants. Okay.
Yes.
South Fork
Understand.
is selling beer.
Right.
Okay.
So we'll try to act on that as soon as we can. We did finally get some activity,
You're gonna
so.
table that?
Yes, it's already tabled.
Okay.
I just want to let you know what was going on, I'm sorry. Okay, next, file amended order from the Illinois Supreme Court for 24 holidays. Now, at the discussion on Monday, or Tuesday, pardon me, it was stated that we've already approved, the calendar. The state added the election day, right?
Correct.
So it was, I don't know what the sentiment, some folks didn't wanna touch it, they just wanted to go with what we've already done. Some, I don't know whether anybody wants to amend it to match the current policy, or the most recent, Supreme Court list. It's your pleasure.
Well, they have plenty of time to vote. They really don't need a day off, I wouldn't think. That's how I feel about it.
I want what the judges want.
Hmm?
Whatever the judges want's fine with me. If they want, I just still always disagree with Juneteenth, but that's the only opinion I got.
The judges, well, by order of Sullivan, Judge Sullivan, the court system's gonna be open on the election day, okay? So we'll look at it to a little further, we can still act upon it if there's any changes that we need to make. in November, okay? But I take it the sentiment is to leave it the way it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Next is action on the bond issue. When we passed the last and final requirement that the bond council had us do, we said that we would bring it back if the board wanted to, you know, have pretty much the final say on whether we went ahead with the issuance of the bonds, even by agreeing to it today. For example, if for some reason the price spiked up, we are not committed to do the bonds. But we would like to recommend that we move forward with the bond issue. And it falls within the parameters. In fact, for the first time in a number of days, the 10-year notes, treasury notes, dropped by 10 points, which is pretty good sized chunk. If that continues like that, it'll put us back to where we were here about a month ago, so. But let's assume the worst. It falls within the parameters of what we're trying to do, so I would ask for a motion to move forward. Russ moved. We have a second? And Phil moves, or seconds, pardon me. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? It does pass. Let's see, any other regular order? Okay, officers, department head reports. Heck, we'll start with you, Wyatt. You're not actually a department head, but you help us a great deal, and I think you have a voice here.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. The board appreciates that as well. I guess the first thing, I know we talked about battery ordinance. I have the Stevenson County, I sent that up to our home office, and he's got some comments that I will forward on to you about tweaks to it. He said the biggest thing that's gonna be different than these other ones is some of these are being purchased, and then when they're purchased, some of these things aren't going to apply to a piece of land that's purchased versus leased. So that'll be the difference. It's all explained in his document, so I'll send that on to the both of you later this morning.
So, was the Stevenson County one, was it a separate ordinance or was it incorporated in their solar ordinance?
I'm pretty sure it was as far as I read through it all, it was a standalone battery storage
Okay,
ordinance.
the one that Augie had sent me was Logan County and it was incorporated in. My thought is it would be good if it was a standalone rather than incorporated in the other one. So, I did scan through that, but that's my thought, and I'm also, assuming that we can't do a moratorium,
I don't know.
because if we can, I would.
Is that something that you could find out from whether the counties have options
Yeah,
to call a moratorium until they, stop,
right.
until we get this thing figured out?
Yeah, I will send an email, find that out.
Yeah, I'd like to know that
Okay,
quickly,
yep, I can do that today.
thank you.
Is that all right? And I saw just, how you're watching the news but doing other things, I heard something about a hearing that was had on Channel 17 was carrying it, so over, out of Decatur. So they had a hearing on batteries storage, and there was a lot of folks there. I just wondered if anybody had seen that. I caught the tail end of it. I wish I would have seen the report. Okay.
So I'll get all that info to you guys later this morning. The other thing, hearing rumors that they want to expand that solar farm down by Kansas,
So they're gonna try to come our side.
I mean, logical reasoning would stand to think that eventually it's gonna come this way, but, you never know what a landowner says or doesn't say, so.
No.
Just something to keep on your radar.
We kind of suspected that shoe might drop one of these days.
Yeah, my counterpart in Coles County is hearing the same thing, so.
We've heard nothing on the wind
I've not particularly heard anything on winds. They poke around once in a while, but I don't think anybody bites, so. And then broadband, I know that there was a huge amount of money doled out to Illinois, just over $1 billion, I believe. So, they're gonna be asking, our home office will be asking us to partake in some meetings about funding different things, so. I've already talked with him, and whatever I can do to help on that end, hopefully maybe move some things along further in the county, do our best there, so.
Yeah, our committee's pretty stuck.
Really?
So, and I don't know, Terry Sullivan hasn't said anything to our committee recently about where Interstar is in investigating.
Okay.
That's all I have for you.
We appreciate it, Wyatt.
Thank you for having me.
Tom? How are you?
We had our T-hanger damaged in the windstorm, and we have made arrangements with a contractor to begin replacing it. Also, we have our AWAS parts starting to arrive. So we'll be back on TV with our weather information soon, I hope.
And we did have a bid come in on the landing system. What is that called?
The Plazzies
The Plazzies.
will be changed to Pappies.
Pappies, yes. And it was $35,000 over, $45,000 over.
15% above.
Yeah,
whatever that was.
15% above. So it's gonna be thrown out and reworked, so. And we're still getting ready for, it won't happen obviously this year anymore, but the resurfacing of the crosswind.
I never did hear it would not happen this year, but it's getting
I
very
just
late.
assume that,
Yeah.
I mean, we're almost to November here, I hate to say it, but. Anyway, any questions about the airport?
Is there a need to expand the hangar?
I believe you're referring to T-hangers.
Mhm.
Currently, we have 2 open, which is unusual.
It's usually full, isn't it?
Yes.
The 13 years, I can't remember a time when we had very often had a hangar or 2 open.
We did host a meeting of the EAA chapter from Terre Haute 10 days ago. And I did have some interest from some of those people who are based in Terre Haute now, so if they want to come over here, we sure told them they would be welcome, so.
Well, I know I have a family member, a couple of family members, who have rented one, and
Yes.
one of them had made the comment that it was the cheapest one around. Not that I'm not wanting to be the cheapest one around, but I found that
As far as
interesting.
I can tell you, we are by far.
All right.
Most affordable,
That's correct.
that's a better way to
Least
say
expensive.
that.
So one of the 2 hangars that's vacancies is the one that's,
No,
so we actually have 3 or?
well, that hangar is technically rented, although we're not charging rent for it.
Okay, so it's, okay, that's fine, I just thought I'd check. Angie, good morning,
Morning, how are you?
here.
So I just had a couple of things. I just want to let you know I've hired someone, so I will be fully staffed finally. I think since COVID, I have been short a person all the time, anyway. The other thing, I talked with our accountants, and they were just, they scheduled a meeting, and I ended up on the phone with them somehow, anyway. They were talking about getting things going with the circuit clerk's audit earlier this year. I don't know if they were doing that with every department, but
Yeah, we need to set up another meeting, we had a conflict, so they were gonna set up another meeting with Augie and Don and myself and whoever else they needed, but I'm glad that you got through. There's some reasons that we need to have them expedited. Every year it just seems to slide further and further out, and that's an issue.
and I think the circuit clerk's audit is supposed to be in like 6 months after the end of the year, and I'm never
Yeah, I agree.
at the right, that's okay, I mean,
Yeah, they're not, Yeah, I mean, it's not like we haven't ordered an audit or, you know, somehow not doing it. And they do file extensions, but it would be nice not to file extensions. So,
Anyway, that's all.
thanks. Any questions of Angie, please? Okay, Monica, hi.
Hi. We are one step closer to getting our dentist going. We finally, one of the credentialing pieces came through, so we're on our last step for credentialing. We really hope to have her working by mid-November. Our the medical staff, our nurses are going out to the factories, some of the factories and long-term care facilities to provide flu shots. We have almost all of our positions filled, yes. And our repairs to our buildings start on Monday, so we're ready for that. I am finally in contact with a drywaller, so things are cooking on the front burner for us.
Monica, how did that work out with, you and I talked that one day where you had found some more mold?
Well, they came in and did more air quality testing for us, and our air quality is fine. They felt that it had more to do with our HVAC system and moisture. I don't think they were concerned about it at all, so I don't think there's going to be any need to extend the work beyond what it was.
Okay,
So,
I
yes.
know and again, I mentioned this yesterday morning, the insurance company, I think, has really, well, I don't want to say treated us well, but certainly been responsive and not hurt us at all, and been very fair about how they've treated us. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, so far they have.
Yeah.
I will get a quote from the drywaller as soon as I have them secured.
Local folks?
Yes,
Good.
yes.
Good.
So I'm actually meeting with him later on today.
Cool.
I'm very optimistic.
Good. Any questions of Monica in the health department?
What a great report. It's nice to hear everything's positive.
I hear ya. I'm glad to. So, yes, no kidding.
Good morning, Josh. Do you have anything from the
Not since
highway
yesterday.
department?
Not since yesterday.
Okay, all right. Augie,
No, nothing new,
nothing new?
no.
All right. Dan, we'll move on to committee reports.
Well, like I said, yes, I stopped at the shelter and everything's running well. Has plenty of help now, and got rid of about 15 animals, so.
Would you and your committee look closely at the budget to make sure that you agree
Yeah.
with what's in that budget?
I'll
Okay.
stop by, check it out.
Yeah, and the pays and so forth to make sure that that's recognition for what's being done. Okay. Yes,
I think it's worth noting in our fund report, going back 4 years previously on animal shelter donations. 4 years ago, 6,288. 3 years ago, 10,688. 2 years ago, $9,404. Last year, $18,162, and this year, $36,000, $190. So that's just kudos to Andrea and the staff, and especially the person who's been doing all the social media. That really speaks well to her and her staff and to the community for their support.
May recommend an increase in salary for Andrew too.
well, that's why I wanted you to look at
I'm
that.
working on it,
It's in the budget already.
yeah. Okay, good.
But that's why once you look at it, to make sure you agree with it, okay?
I was working on the average salary for state people in the nation and so forth, to see where she fits in, and a little lower than most of them.
I understand.
And the donations go to the animal welfare, not to Andrea's salary,
Right,
so
right.
just to make that clear.
Right. Like
Yeah.
extra pins and
Mhm.
repair and stuff like that.
And it is in really good condition
Yes, it
compared to
is.
what it was a couple years ago.
Right, we still need some work on inside cages, but I don't know if she ever got it done or not, but the bottom of the cages need to be fixed, and Russ, I think, checked on, was gonna check on us and recommend what to do.
Okay. Do you have anything, Phil?
Nope.
Russ?
Nope.
Lisa?
Back to our conversation on 911 signs out in the country.
Yes.
I thought about that more, and I do understand the recommendation to put that back as a township responsibility.
Yeah, I think it at least bears some thinking about to see
Yeah.
what's the best way to approach that. I appreciate the comments. Do you have anything on, I know we're gonna try to have a,
Right, and I have not contacted Jessica, but we do need to have a meeting with her. Yeah.
you'll note that you have a, well, you've already looked at this document on cash flow. We're starting to, we did get a 55% distribution on property taxes, and that made a big difference on our cash flow. However, our cash flow's never been in real jeopardy for a couple of years. You might note there at the very top line, boy, you could barely read this. I think I need to have my glasses checked, but looks like we have a little over $1.5 million in CDs in the general fund. I know that the drainage district funds are in CDs. We've got over $1 million there. And then we have in muni funds, over $9.9 million in muni funds. And that's from the bond issue. So Don's keeping us, I want to try to work with him to maybe get a separate investment report so that we have it on a monthly basis. We also need to come up with a long-term policy on reserve funds. So we all have an idea of what we want to keep as reserve funds. Most of the financial people advise for, like our situation, that we keep somewhere between 12 and 15% of our budget as a reserve. So that's just something to think about. I mean, yes.
On public safety fund, can you give an estimate about what that'll be fiscal year end?
Yeah, the public, you mean, yeah, that should be, you'd add another 130 grand to that.
So it'll be roughly,
But then we have a payment due. That payment, well, I can't say, it's gonna be around $400,000. So you subtract, add roughly 130 and subtract 400. Does that help? And of course, some of that will be transferred back in to the general fund for the operation of the sheriff's department on an annual basis. So that will knock that fund down quite a ways. Okay? Again, I'd like to, you all have a copy of the new budget. I'm sorry, a draft of the new budget. I would hope that you would take any opportunity you can to go through that and make sure that you understand it the best you can, and we'll discuss it when we can. Like I said yesterday morning, it's been kind of an abbreviated time that we've had it because of factors in the treasurer's office. So anything anytime you have a question, pick up the phone and call me. If I don't have the answer, I'll get it. We have negotiations still going on which will affect the budget, so we'll do the best we can. All right? Is there anything else to come before the meeting this morning? Don't think we need to have a closed session, do we? Does anybody have anything that we need to have a closed session on personnel or any? Yes, Dan?
Somebody asked me when the second installment on property taxes due.
November, hang on,
I wouldn't.
November 3rd, I believe.
November 3rd, okay.
Does that sound right, Augie?
Yes, it does.
That would be the first Friday in November, okay?
Somebody asked me, I wasn't for sure.
Yeah, November
Oh,
3rd.
November. Okay.
Okay. I know I was gonna ask you on the filing petitions, we're in the middle of that, but they can't file yet, correct?
Yeah, circulating is going on, and they don't file till basically the end of November. I believe it's I don't have my calendar.
It's okay, yeah, I got a calendar.
It's the
So
end of
for,
November that rolls over into the 1st of December,
well, it's, yeah,
Monday to Monday.
so it'd be due in on the 4th of December, I
That's
think
correct.
that's
Yep.
correct.
Yep,
Okay.
last day.
That's a Monday.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Anything else to come before the meeting, guys? Thank you all for being here. Appreciate your support of the county board. Thank you. We're adjourned. Oh, we need a motion, I'm sorry. Okay, Lisa moves, Russ seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. We're adjourned.